Well, welcome to the Chef Land Show. And no, I'm not in the kitchen right now. I'm at Five Guys Burgers with the burger chef, Mike Dampier, and Chef Corey, who's part of that. They have a cooking team together where they compete. And we're going to do a, don't say it too loud, a better than Five Guys burger today. But we got to try out the original so we know what we're up against. So that's what we're going to do. We all got burgers here today, so that's done right. So first of all, they come in these foil. I mean, this is like straight up aluminum foil. This is not foil.
This is just a full sheet.
And so let's look at what we got here. Got some lettuce, got mayo on the top, pickles, tomato, got that, ooh, look at that melty cheese. They own, by the way, they do it right. They only put American cheese on their burgers, right? That is the burger, the cheese for burgers. Am I right?
That is right. Good, nice melty cheese.
On the bottom, okay, what do we got here? Oh, the onions are on the bottom.
Okay, you did get onions. I didn't get.
And so we got ketchup, mustard on the bottom with diced onions.
So they do it on the bottom, they do it on the top there. Of course, the cheese is in between the two patties. So.
It's a good looking burger. Now, this one of the things I noticed real quick, the burger, it's not wet but it's soft. I think it's steamed inside the foil. It's kind of softened it up. Yeah,
but it still holds itself.
It still holds, yeah. So, you guys ready to do a deep dive?
Well, let's dive.
Listen, we're not gonna mess around. We're going all in on this one, guys. Okay, with lots of napkins, extra napkins. So cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Here we go. Now that is a tasty burger.
Well, it's tasty.
You know what I noticed right off the bat? The fact they don't season their meat at all. I noticed that right off the bat. Now they have their own special seasoning. I mean, not seasoning, meat blend. But they don't season their meat, and it's noticeable.
Now, they have a company that blends their meat for them, and then of course they patty them out and smash them out. But some burger places you'll taste the pepper, salt, pepper. You'll taste something. You definitely no seasoning or flavor as far as that. It is a juicy burger.
It is good meat. There's no question about it. It does. It does. Wow.
Burger.
Now, Chef Corey, how long were you have you cooked with Mike here?
I'll say about 3 years.
3 years? Yeah. So you two have made a few burgers together?
Oh yeah. Together.
So here's the game plan, kids. After we enjoy this tasty burger, we're going to go back to the kitchen, Chef Mike and I, and we're going to do a better than Five Guys burger.
Don't say that too loud.
I know, we can't say it too loud. Might kick us out, But I promise you, when we're done, we will have done better than Five Guys. There's nothing wrong with this burger. This is a good burger. It's juicy.
This is a good burger. The way how they've got it, set up is nice.
It's not my first time at Five Guys, but it's been a minute since I've been in the Five Guys. But the burgers are really, really good. Now, I see milkshakes and they do fries and things like that, but we're here for the burgers. But I think we can do better than this.
We're here just for the burgers. I think I'm gonna give me a milkshake before I leave. Just for the drive back over to where we need to be.
So I think we can do better than this.
Make sure I get my milkshake first. But yes, I definitely do. As being the burger chef, with Chef Lancer, I think we definitely could do something a little bit better than these. But man, this is good. It's a good burger though.
It is a good burger. Now this is a $10 burger. Okay. So if you're not ready to shell out some money, and we got one paid drink and 2 waters, and $35 and some change. $35.90 to be exact.
This no fries.
No fries.
3 burgers.
1 soft drink, 2 water. I mean, seriously, this is not cheap.
You can get some free peanuts.
There you go.
Complimentary peanuts.
They do that so you'll buy a drink.
Exactly.
Because it'll make you dry. But let me tell you something. You can do a better burger than this at home for a fraction of the cost. Okay? You really can. And if you do most of the work on prep day and have your stuff ready to go, you patty it out and all that, you can throw this on a weeknight and have burgers on the table in no time. So This is very doable for you guys to do at home. And again, saving you money. You enjoy cooking. You're going to get to have, and you'll be the hit of the weeknight. You'll be the weeknight winner. The weeknight winner and the
What did you say?
I think anyway. I know you'll be a weeknight winner, even or on a weekend for crying out loud. This is a great burger to do. You don't have to do it on the grill. They use a flat top over there. You can do it. We're going to use a cast iron skillet when we get back, and this is very doable. And
This is very doable, very good, very simple. Save you some money. Good at home.
now the classic cheeseburger comes with 2 patties. If you don't have a big appetite, you can drop that down to 1. But we're going to do this for you better than Five Guys. So we'll take you back to the kitchen. And when we do, we're going to get to cooking. So we'll see you around the corner. All right, let's enjoy, guys. All right, welcome, friend. And we are here doing a better than Five Guys burger. And who better to do that with than the burger chef, Mike Dampier. Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Doing great. How you doing, Chef?
Excellent, excellent. So we're going to do a burger better than Five Guys. We got the buns in the oven.
Okay.
So that's all getting ready. We'll get those out in a few minutes, and very few minutes, and hopefully they'll be done. We're going to prep and get ready for this. So you're going to patty the meat up and walk me through the Five Guys process, if you will.
Well, what they do is they use their meat, and they do about 3.5 ounces of meat because they do a smash patty. So they don't do a big thick burger. So just getting some meat here. This is ground chuck, 80-20. So it's good fat content. Usually stay around that 80-20, 81-19 range, and just trying to get the right ounces on this.
Now, is it true that you can overwork ground beef when you're making a burger?
That's one of the biggest things in the kitchen, trying to train other prep people or cooks, is they'll get in there and they'll just destroy the beef. You can't overwork it. You can smush it, mash it, all the heck, basically, because you're not really trying to do that with the burger. You can really mess it up, and once you cook it, you've lost a lot of flavor, texture. It doesn't cook up right, and you'll be very disappointed in that process.
So how long have you been cooking, Chef?
My mom ran restaurants for 30 years,
Mm-hmm.
and I swore I never was going to work that hard in my life. I would see her get up at 2-3 in the morning. She'd go in and do the breakfasts and she lived out in the country, so they'd have a big lunch buffet. So she would do the breakfast, do the lunch buffet, and get that ready. In the heat,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
just on the concrete floors, I'd see her just kind of broken down a little bit and tired. And so I actually ran from the restaurants.
Yeah.
And I actually did hard manual labor that other people would consider that. I worked I built sawmill machinery.
Oh, wow.
Worked in plywood mills, aerospace place. I was a chemist doing chemical milling for aircraft parts. But when we would have company get-togethers to reward the employees, or if you met your safety goals and production, I would be one of the ones that was out on the grill.
Right.
Or out on the smoker, or the one they would go, "Hey, Dampier, let's cook this." And it led to some opportunities. Had a little small concession trailer for a little bit.
Oh, 1 second. So this is iceberg lettuce, just straight up iceberg. You see this core right here. The very first fast food job the second fast food job I ever had in high school, they taught me how to get rid of this. You just take it, smash it, and it just peels right out. There you go. Sorry to interrupt.
You can do smash burgers, you can do smash lettuce. That's what we do here. But the owner of a place in Hot Springs, it's known as the oldest bar in Arkansas, he called me. He was short a doorman. He said, "You're big, you're ugly. I need you at the front door to, help me out."
This was still running as a bar, right?
This was a bar and they served a little bit of food.
Now, is this the place where Al Capone used to go?
Al Capone, Oni Madden, famous mobster, Babe Ruth, because Hot Springs was the birthplace of spring training baseball. So a lot of famous. Mae West did her burlesque show there in the 1930s.
Oh, wow. You know,
So
there's a place. The Vapors was a little nightclub. Is it still open?
it is. It's Vapors Live. They still do. They still do shows.
Back in the day when the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson was 90 minutes, I used to stay with my dad and watch it, and they would have ads. And I'll never forget it like it was yesterday when Phyllis Diller was coming to the Vapors. They had a lot of celebrities that come to Hot Springs.
Phyllis Diller was a main draw there. Once I got in the food business doing this, I wanted to see some old menus of the restaurants in Hot Springs.
Right.
So I went to the Historical Society. I said, do you have a menu from Vapors? She said, I have one.
Oh, my.
I said, can I see it? She said, it's under glass. And it was signed by the greatest piano player, performer in the history of everything, the Liberace.
No way, really?
Right across the menu is Liberace's signature. He performed at Vapors. He performed at the Southern Club. And
I did not know that.
before there was Vegas, Hot Springs was the Vegas. So they would come through there. Tony Bennett performed at Hot Springs.
You know, I heard that he wrote, he first performed "I Left My Heart in what's that the San Francisco song?
Left My Heart in San Francisco.
That the composer said, "Hey, I got a song you want to hear," and he was performing in Hot Springs at the time, and he performed it first in Hot Springs.
He was at the Vapors. They finished up, and down about a block over at the 100 block of Central was the Black Orchid, and nobody in there, just the bartender. And Tony Bennett walks in with his composer, and he's at the piano. And he said, well, let's work on some stuff. He said, well, I have this song that it's been out for a little bit, but nobody's ever recorded it. And you're fixing to go to San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's do it. So they did it. The bartender, when they finished, said, if you record that and put that out, I'll be the first one to buy it.
Wow.
And then, as they say, the rest is history.
Yeah. He in fact, when they opened the convention center, he was the first act there. He came back.
He came back.
So
they have a real nice piece of artwork out in their entryway.
Yeah. There's also a great food show there every year, too.
There's always a great food show
there. That food show was off the charts. So anyway, we're talking about Hot Springs, Arkansas, by the way, which is from where we're at right now in Little Rock. What, about a 45-minute drive, or is it closer to an hour?
For regular drivers, it is close to an hour. I usually, a little bit faster.
Yeah. And they just reworked the freeway, the highway.
They're reworking. That's I-30 is
almost done.
I think in 49 years of my life, they've been working on it, but
Seriously.
it's almost done.
I
recently redid Highway 70, the highway.
Beautiful.
So you have 4 lanes with the middle and real nice stop areas and stuff. So it's a beautiful drive.
They're going to finish I-30 the day after my funeral. I figured that out already. So I don't know how many. By the way, burgers. Tell me how you feel about this. What I'm about to say. Burgers deserve American cheese. And do you agree with that?
I agree with that wholeheartedly.
So people think it's a processed cheese and all that, but it's real cheese. It's made with cheddar and I believe Monterey Jack.
Yes.
And then they add some emulsifiers, and there ain't nothing wrong with some good emulsifiers to melt. So when the emulsifier helps keep the fat inside the cheese, and what happens with a lot of cheese, if you heat it up, it breaks the emulsion. You get a lot of grease. Cheddar's known for that, some other cheeses as well. But American cheese stays together, and it just melts beautifully. So now, listen, every now and then I'll put a nice slice of pepper jack or something like that. That's probably enough, don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
Now, I did the cross cut on the lettuce, so I think we'll have to break these up. Now, do you like your onions? You want us to do these like this, or do you want to break them into rings, or how do you like to do your onions?
For me personally, I like them like this.
Yeah.
I don't mind. The diced is fine. Depends on where you're eating at, but I really like.
Let's go with that. Let's go with that. So, where are we at in your process on your side of the house?
Well, I've just weighed out some burgers, all 3.5 ounces. That's what the Five Guys does it, because they do a smash patty, and so I am going to smash some down and season it with a little salt and pepper.
You're not a big fan of the smash. Talk about that.
You had to bring that up, didn't you? The places that I've ran, we usually do about 7 to 8 ounce burger patties. And we've been very successful at doing that. And the reason why I do is you get a big, nice, juicy burger. It photographs perfect, it sets up perfect, and they're not going to go away hungry. When I've gone and ate some places, and there'll be real good smash patties, but I'd have to get it a triple or a quadruple, or I would get done eating a regular old single smash patty and have to go get something else to eat. So if I want to eat a burger, I don't have to go get something else to eat. But there are some great places that do outstanding with smash burgers.
So I kind of like a smash burger every once in a while because it's a little crispier. The texture, you get a little more crisp per size of the burger. By the way, I'm using the serrated knife to do my tomatoes, and not because my chef knife's not sharp. It is, but this makes cutting soft fruits and breads, anything soft, very easily. Just so you might keep that in mind next time you're slicing up some tomatoes. So,
I am smashing out the meat.
So when did you become the burger chef?
Well, I was at the front door of the.
And by the way, check him out on Facebook. Because just look up Burger Chef, the Burger Chef, and this guy's going to be there. So look him up.
I was at the front door doing a very good job, I thought, and they were having issues with their kitchen. And he said, "Hey, can you help me in the kitchen?" Sure. So one day a week I'd help, and I'd still work the door. Then it was 2-3 days a week, and I'd still help at the door. And then he's like, in December 2015, he said, "Do you want the kitchen?" So I became the kitchen manager of the Ohio Club, and we had to make things more efficient, more better.
Right.
And a few months later, I was doing a cooking show, and I didn't go to culinary school, so I'm very touchy on being called chef. I think that you've got to put in the years, the time, go to school, get the degrees. Everybody now calls everybody a chef, apparently. And I was always touchy about that. I did not want to disrespect anybody. So I'm on a cooking show, and she's chef this, chef that, while we're off the air. I said, "Please, just call me Mike." I said, "But you're the chef." I'm like, "Just call me Mike." She waited until we got live on TV.
Yeah.
And I'm grilling. I got smoke going. They didn't have a vent hood. I've got about 8 burgers going. And she said, "I'm live right here. And we've got from the Historic Ohio Club." Wait a minute. You don't want me to call you chef. What should we call you?
Oh my gosh. On live TV.
Live TV, you can see me look at the camera. I flip a burger because it was time to flip. And I looked at her. I was like, "Well, I do burgers. We're getting known for burgers at the Ohio Club. When I was little, there was a franchise called Burger Chef.
I remember that.
Fast food restaurant, right along the lines with McDonald's, Burger King, and Burger Chef. They were some of the first that had kids' meals. They did a lot of first. They had a Big Chef burger, which was the double decker with that middle bun with lettuce.
Sounds like a big
tomato,
Mac.
Special sauce,
lettuce, cheese, pickles.
And 3 years later, McDonald's came out with a Big Mac.
Yep.
So growing up, it was a treat. Now kids go to fast food how many times a week?
Almost.
Now, let me put it this way. How many times a day do people go to a fast food restaurant? Back then, single mom, if she had a little bit of extra money at the end of the month, it was special to go get a kid's meal at Burger Chef.
Yep.
So I always knew a Burger Chef, everything. So I'm flipping burgers. She put me on the spot. I said, I'm doing burgers. Just call me the Burger Chef.
And
since then,
that's all you've been known by.
That's all I've been known by. Doing it ever since then. Cooking shows. I've traveled the country doing cooking competitions, judging food competitions. I've judged over 200 food competitions.
This guy's on the road a lot. He is. And
then if you call yourself something like the Burger Chef,
you got
to back it up.
Right.
And thanks to great customers, a loyal fan base, and just people that appreciate what we do. Now, not every burger is perfect. You'll send out a dud every now and then. But I think since 2016, 29 Best Burger Awards, locally, state, and nationally.
Yep.
I think we backed it up a little bit.
A little bit.
So
that's right.
Some people say that's arrogant for me to say, but if you call yourself the Burger Chef, you've got to have something to hang your hat on.
Yeah.
And been very successful with that.
So just a little trivia for you about my hometown. just right down the road here. I graduated from the Saline County Public Schools, the county seat, the town. And when I was, I think, a junior, maybe a senior in high school, one of those years, they closed the cafeteria and they put in a McDonald's franchise. We were the first school in America to have a fast food franchise as our main source of lunches. True story. Yep. And so with typically they took the kitchen, and we still had the seating area, and you'd walk in, in the cafeteria, you'd walk through a line and come out. Well, you just walk in the doors now, and you right up to a McDonald's counter. So anyway,
that is very interesting. I did not know that.
So I met Mike, I don't know, a few years ago now. But my dad was not doing well. I had some health issues going on, and I was finishing up culinary school. And so I had been seeing all my Facebook friends, culinary related, kept, his pictures and stuff kept popping up because the guy, you practically live on Facebook, it seems like. But you've done a great job with, posting and promoting and stuff. But I kept seeing the Burger Chef. And I said, finally, one day I had a free day. And I told my dad, Pop, we're going to Hot Springs today, and I have family in Hot Springs. One of my dad's sisters married and moved there decades ago, and her children went. In fact, one of them actually graduated high school with Bill Clinton in Hot Springs. Another tidbit: it's where he went to school. So we drove in a torrential downpour that day to the Ohio Club. And I didn't even know if you were there. So I got in and I asked for you, and you came out. You were in a sling, and I remember asking you, how are you flipping burgers like that?
Yep.
So, and we met and became instant friends. Then when I got the executive chef position in North Central Arkansas at a lake resort, one day he sends me a text, says, hey, I've got a friend popping in for lunch. What do you recommend? Or something to that effect. Blah, blah, blah. And I wasn't always there at lunch. I worked the dinner shift. I just happened to be there working on it preparing for a buffet. So next thing I know, I said, well, what's his name? I'm going to meet him. He said, well, he's sitting out there now. It was him. And so let me throw this in because I think this is important. He had just created his first spice rub for beef.
Yep.
And you happened to have a case on the truck or the car.
Yep.
And I bought it from you instantly. And we started putting that on our burgers and got rave reviews on our burgers. Now, listen, our burgers are not Burger Chef burgers up there. They use frozen patties and if I had gotten around to it, I would have fixed that, right?
Yeah.
I was a little embarrassed to serve you that burger. I have to be honest.
I ordered a burger.
They did, of course, he did. So, and I hope they fixed those, but I doubt they have. Anyway, so you've been cooking then since 2015 as the Burger Chef.
Professionally, since
Professionally,
2015.
yeah. And
the Ohio Club for all the way till last year. We built up great clientele. When I first took it over, the owner was like, we are a bar that serves some food.
Right.
I just want a simple menu with high quality.
Mm-hmm.
If you can get the best, I'll set some costs.
I'm listening. I'm going to check on
you check on those buns. I check on the buns, huh?
Right. Oh, there you look at those.
Oh, my goodness.
Aren't those gorgeous?
Wow.
Look at that. I'm kind
And
of proud I made those.
He was just, keep it simple. And he told me in a mouth that he said, I'm just going to put it out there because I'm not tied to anything. 300,000 in food sales. We sold some burgers.
Mm-hmm.
In a little 12 or 14 kitchen, you're not going to do a burger more or make $1 more. Just don't mess it up. Get it efficient. I don't want a 45-minute wait on a burger.
Right.
I want quality. I want consistency. If I came in and ordered this specific burger 4 times through different hours of the day, it should be the same.
Yep.
And I should not be able to guess who's the cook. So that was always the goal.
Right.
Working with any new hires.
And I think that's a great goal to shoot for.
And that's what I shoot for anywhere I'm at or any place I'm doing consulting. That's what you do.
Right.
So fast forward 12 months from that. And this guy's about yay tall. I'm a big, ugly guy. He's about yay tall. He comes in the kitchen outside. He goes outside. We're about November, and I've been checking the numbers and keeping up with stuff, but we hadn't discussed anything really. And he huffed and puffed. He's like, what did I tell you when I first hired you? I said, I'm not going to make $1 more, a burger more. We did 300,000 2015. Just don't mess it up.
Mhm.
They use different words, but just
Right.
don't mess it up.
Restaurant
And in
talk.
case this is a family show. And I said, yes, sir. And I'm smiling because I know the numbers. He said, how the heck
It's something
have
like
you
that.
put out over $600,000 in gross food sales and almost 40,000 burgers in this little bit? I said, well, you said make it efficient, boss.
Right?
And fast forward to 2019, we hit $1 million. We hit all of our numbers as far as where the margins need to be.
Wow.
With the food costs, labor costs. 2019, pre-COVID, we did over 55,000 burgers
In that 1 year?
in that 1 year on a 24-inch flat top.
Okay, guys, if you've never cooked in a commercial kitchen or flat, I cooked burgers on a 3-footer, and it was too short, too small. That's that's tiny.
2 foot. We had two 24-inch flat tops. One, you'd do the burgers. The other, you'd toast the bread
Mm-hmm.
or do sandwiches because we did a Reuben and other stuff. And when fast forward, 2020 COVID changed everything.
Yep.
2021 we had a landslide that wiped out our kitchen.
Okay, so you got to understand, Hot Springs, most of Hot Springs downtown especially, was dug out of a mountain, right? They're in the middle of not the middle, but in the Ouachita Mountains, beautiful mountain range. Come visit Arkansas, really. And they literally half of downtown was dug out of the side of the mountain. And so, yeah, mudslides.
When it rains, it floats. Matter of fact, if you please do go visit, if you're ever in Hot Springs, the Ohio Club. One thing you'll notice is when you walk in the door, if you come up to the bar, it may be about right here. But if you walk down and go towards the restroom, the bar is about right here. And you're like, the Ohio Club floor is slant with a slight slant down
Oh my gosh.
because when it rains, water comes down the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
There is a creek under Central Avenue. There's
Yep.
a tunnel with a creek. Water rises, water flows down. So if any water was to ever get back in the Ohio Club, it would flow.
I'll be doggone.
In 1990, we had a horrible flood. And if you go in the Ohio Club, it's this big 1800s mahogany carved out bar.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Two ladies on each end.
Yeah, it looked like they come off a ship's mast or something.
And that's what it looks like. Water in 1990 was up to the breast.
Oh
So the
my
entire
gosh.
bar was underwater.
Oh my.
But entire Hot Springs. But anyways, the floor is slanted to where the water would drain out towards the street.
That's crazy.
So it's a little crazy like that. But a great year, COVID changed everything. 2021, a landslide wiped out the little 12 by 14 kitchen. And the boss is standing there. He just lost his kitchen. That day, the governor came on TV and said, all restrictions on restaurants are lifted. And we had to close.
Oh my gosh.
And he's like, what are we going to do? He's upset. He's stressing. I said, this would be a great opportunity to build a bigger kitchen.
Yes.
He looked at me. He said, did you push the big rock off the So fast forward, we stayed open
Yeah.
without our kitchen. We
Like,
partnered with the health. We got legal and everything. Customers were able to order from other restaurants that would deliver. So you could come and order Rocky's Pizza and they would deliver. So we
Right.
were able to stay within our legal bounds
and
of
you're
food,
and you're
alcohol.
selling beverages and things
Selling
like that.
beverages, live music. So built a 24 kitchen. And I had a 36-inch char grill.
Mm-hmm.
And we had two 36-inch flat tops.
Wow.
And
Yeah,
a
you're
stove top. So I finally was able to get
so
what we
hey,
needed.
in Arkansas we call that you're in high cotton.
You in high cotton.
I'm going to check on these buns. I'm going to turn the convection fan on real quick too.
because they are looking nice over there.
We just need a little more color on them, and they'll be done. Actually, I'm going to grab my thermometer in a second to check on them, because you can do an internal check on your breads too. That's another way I learned that when I minored in bread baking. So while we're waiting on that, we're finished prepping, and before we jump to the stove, speaking of shutting down the Ohio Club, talk to our friends out here about Prohibition and what they did in Prohibition to stay open.
The Ohio Club opened in 1905, and very successful. We had a lot of gambling going on. Spring training baseball, you'd have Babe Ruth, Honus Wagner, all the greats. Walter Johnson, Cy Young, all come to Hot Springs. Mobsters came to Hot Springs. And then we went prohibition. No booze, no whiskey, no nothing. So the owner of the Ohio Club at that time took the sign down. The front part where you walk in, actually where you and your father sat at, and you can still see the holes in the floor. They put up a wall. You cannot see the bar, and put a front up. The new sign during those years of prohibition, Ohio Cigar Store. So they sold cigars, newspapers, walking canes, little storefront. And if you knew the right people to get in,
Speakeasy.
you could go in the back door or the side entrance, and it was a full bar, full casino, 2 levels, and that's how they ran during Prohibition.
Yeah.
And stayed open. And then after Prohibition, mobster in New York, the killer, Oni Madden, who'd been vacationing in Hot Springs, met this beautiful lady in Hot Springs. And he's from New York and from Europe. He married the postmaster's daughter.
No way.
Miss Agnes Demby. I never knew Mr. Oni because he passed away in the 60s. I did get to meet Miss Agnes before she passed away.
Wow.
Wonderful lady. But through his connections, because he ran the Cotton Club. Cotton Club in New York had Cab Calloway, Louis Armstrong, Mayo, everybody that was anybody, Al Jolson. Well, Hot Springs brought in those actors and singers and dancers. He brought in Mae West. He'd bring in people. Jack Dempsey, the world champion boxer, come to see Oni.
In fact, that restaurant that had Jack Dempsey's name on it, I just rewatched The Godfather for like the umpteenth time, is featured in The Godfather, the movie, as the place where they met.
Where they would meet. That was a very good segment there. But Dempsey come to Hot Springs. So they worked their way through that. Prohibition lifted. They still kept illegal gambling going. Illegal gambling went all the way up into right in the 70s.
Oh, I thought it was.
Hot Springs had back alleys, back casinos going. Hot Springs was one of the most corrupt cities.
Oh, absolutely.
There is a newspaper article, I can't remember the year it came out, in the New York Times that called Hot Springs the Sodom and Gomorrah of the United States.
Wow.
Because there was brothels. You had madams running prostitutes and houses.
Wow.
And cabaret shows. You had people running casinos. You had the dinner theaters. People were performing. So there were some guys that got out of World War II, clean cut, good old 100% All-Americans that came back to Arkansas. One was Mr. Sid McMath.
And became governor.
Became governor. I got to spend a day with him one time.
Wow.
And it was just amazing.
Go ahead.
No, and so guys like that, and then one of the Rockefellers, the big multi-million billionaires up in New York, came to Hot Springs and came to Arkansas, and some other folks were involved and got everything shut down. So Hot Springs went through a very bad dry spell. Downtown was like a ghost town.
Now, Governor McMath was governor in the 40s, correct?
Yes.
And just
late 40s, early 50s.
And before we were born, but he actually was the governor. It was attributed to shutting illegal gambling down. And I've often thought it's a wonder he wasn't assassinated.
He said there was threats made on his life.
Absolutely,
but he always had to have, security with him, whether he's governor or not, because Hot Springs was a rough place. It was so rough that in the beginning times, we actually have a law enforcement memorial, and we just had a special ceremony last week honoring the ones that are on the wall that we've lost in service.
Wow.
The first few people that we lost, the city and the county departments, was because the county sheriff's department was corrupt, the city was corrupt, and they had a shootout in downtown Hot Springs.
Get the crap out.
Over who owned what and what was running who.
No, I did not know that.
We lost some law enforcement because of that. So it was very corrupt.
Well, back when I grew up as a young child in the 60s, and back then the tax collector was also the sheriff. It was sheriff and tax collector, and it was a hoedown. I mean, they didn't really go shooting at each other to win that race, but whoever won the sheriff's race became wealthy. And
Exactly.
it reminds me of the story of Matthew, the tax collector in the Bible.
Oh, yes.
You know, and they were hated because they were always taking extra for their own pocket.
Exactly.
But, so listen, we're at a stopping point. I got another story to tell, but we'll do that when we're cooking. That tied to Hot Springs as well as where my dad grew up, which is north of Hot Springs in the Ouachita Mountains. So I'm going to check on these. Easy for you to say. Yep, I'm going to check on these buns and get those finished up. And when we bring you back, we're going to be cooking some burgers and putting them together. We got all our condiments. It's all ready. I even made the mayonnaise we're going to use. So, by the way, somewhere I think over here, they're gonna you'll find that video. You can be able to watch it when you're watching this. So, all right, Mike, I'm going to go get these buns, and we'll see you around the corner.
See you in a little bit, yes.
All right, so look at the color.
Oh, my goodness.
Look at that. Guys.
As that old song would say, man, those are some nice buns, huh?
Now we're digging back into country talk now.
Oh, my goodness. Those are some beautiful brioche right there.
All right. So
and some without sesame seeds.
Yeah, these are without the sesame seeds. And so you can see the tops are a little different now. But look at the color on these. So what we're going to do now is nothing because we've got to let them cool before we slice them open. And remember, everybody, I know, I bake bread. Everybody loves hot buttered bread, but don't slice your bread when it's hot. Let it come to as close to room temperature as you can. We're going to push the envelope on this because the chef here, the burger chef's got to be on a TV show here in a little bit. So we're going to push the envelope on how warm they are when we do it because I didn't get my job done and getting these done ahead of time. But don't, let your bread cool at least some because what happens is when you slice it, all that moisture and steam, like cutting open a steak without letting it rest, it just flies out and your bread will become gummy. So you don't want that. So we're going to let these cool a minute. And then when we do, we'll bring you back. We're going to show you how to slice a bun that you make yourself. But listen, guys, I hope you try this brioche bun at home because, wait a second.
Well, earlier in the show, he did the egg wash, which gives you color, but he was going to put sesame seed on. And one of the reasons is these sesame seeds will stay on that. If you don't do that, the seeds are going to fall off.
Right.
And so make sure you follow the steps that he's done. Do these at home. These are beautiful. It's just gorgeous.
And as luck would have it.
And what do you call that?
Chef's privilege.
Exactly.
So guess what, Chef?
Woo.
We're going to eat this one hot. I wish I should have brought some butter.
Man, we should have some butter and some honey.
Lindsay, I forgot something again.
Hey, the Arkansas Heritage, Arkansas Food Hall of Fame, the food of the year this year is Arkansas honey. And got a little jar of honey I took home. I'm diabetic, so I space it out. But I tell you, a good hot bun like this coming out of the oven, a little bit of Arkansas honey. Woo.
I know what I think about it. Tell me what you think about it. It makes me want to do my happy dance.
It's got good texture, good flavor. I was up in Omaha, Nebraska one time and toured Rotella, the famous bakery that actually started in Italy in the 1800s, came to America.
And that bread is in a lot of restaurants.
It is in a lot of restaurants, a lot of different styles. Got to go through there, and before I got there, I turned my GPS. This is no lie. I turned my GPS off and rolled the window down. I could smell the bread baking and pulled in.
You followed your nose.
So we're going through, I'm seeing all of this bread just on these conveyors, and it come through, and it's the fourth generation Rotella family. He said, grab you one. It was like Kid and Willy Wonka.
Oh my gosh.
I quickly grabbed it, and it's warm. I mean, it just come out going through there. I was like, it's like I got the golden ticket to go see Willy Wonka. And that was one of the best tasting. I was like, oh my gosh. And they're like, now don't do this all throughout the tour. Don't be reaching and grabbing it because it was amazing.
You talk about that smell. It's amazing. And when I was a kid, this would again been back in the 60s. I'm dating myself. But
I was a kid in the 70s and 80s.
He's a young guy.
I'm about to be 50.
So there was a Wonder Bread Factory in downtown Little Rock. And we, as school kids, we typically took an annual field trip to there. And you could sit literally throughout downtown Little Rock, like Mike was telling you about. You could smell the bread. You just followed your nose. And you walk in there and it's just, I don't know what it is about baking bread, and we humans just love it.
Baking bread and smoking hickory wood.
Oh, yes.
I would drive in, if you're in Hot Springs, one of the main roads is called Albert Pike.
Mm-hmm.
It's 270 West. Coming east into town is McClard's Barbecue.
One of the best barbecue places.
They opened, I believe, 1926. They have sold since, but Mr. Philip McClard is still there, 2 a.m. to noon, running the place.
No way.
But I would, just as I'm passing the stoplight at Richard Street, I'd roll my windows down, just like I did in the bread factory, and smell that hickory wood. And I would also stop and visit, too,
Yeah.
and go in because I was friends with them. But Philip is, should know today, but he was a semifinalist to be inducted in the Barbecue Hall of Fame, which is worldwide. So McClard's Barbecue, the most famous. They used to put barbecue on Air Force One.
Yep.
In the 90s.
Well, so the thing
These are
is,
beautiful.
Thank you, Chef. So the thing about Arkansas, what is Arkansas known for food-wise? And it's hard to pinpoint that. I asked my mentor that, and he said, maybe fried food. But the truth is, we've got Texas to our southwest. We've got Missouri, Kansas City's to our north. We've got Memphis, 2 hours drive that way from here. All known for their barbecue, but Arkansas produces some of the best barbecue in the world, people.
Yes, it does.
And we're not known for it. But when you find a gym like McClard's, by golly, you got to stop there. I mean, our barbecue, nobody does barbecue as well as Arkansas. I don't care who you are. Call me from Kansas City. Comment below, and let's have an argument. But until you come and try some of the good old Arkansas barbecue, you ain't got nothing to talk about. Okay, now I'm getting on my high horse.
Please send all comments, complaints to him, the burger chef. I love all barbecue. No, I'm just kidding. I travel the country. I'm a member of the Kansas City Barbecue Society.
So Kansas City is great barbecue.
Oh yeah, it's food competitions all over the world. I've judged all over the country, and competition barbecue is different than restaurant barbecue.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And so when I've traveled to Alabama or Carolinas or even out to Arizona or up north, you see those different regions. And I'll add this ain't in the script, a fun fact.
Well, there's no script, by the way.
It's kind of like, whose line is it anyway?
Uh-huh.
All, questions, answers, no points or nothing. Fun fact, in the 1600s, in the 1660s to early 1700s, there was a captain. They ended up becoming a buccaneer, a pirate. That was the early stages of piracy. He just left the British Navy, and was commissioned. I can't remember the Queen's name or the King's name, but you can Google King, Queen, 1600s, 1700s, was commissioned to go on these voyages. From the 1660s to early 1700s, he went around the globe 3 times.
Wow.
He landed on the western coast of Australia. Britain, British, England, Europe had never been there. So there is a town named after him. There's Sharks Bay. One of the times he went back, his ship was marooned, so he had to wait for somebody to come get him. There is a guy that was on one ship that they kicked off through Ellen Island, and years later, he came back and was on the ship that picked the guy up and rescued him. And someone, Defoe, went blank on the first initials, but Defoe wrote a story about it called Robinson Crusoe.
Oh, my goodness, really?
Based on this adventure. And there's another guy later that wrote Gulliver's Travels about this guy that went around, because this captain, who got into piracy too, came to America one time. He met a young lady. He had a wife in England. Left, never came back to America, but he went to the Bahamas, Jamaica, Cuba, all through the Caribbean, South America, and he documented. He did drawings of birds. It's like a scientist, kind of.
Wow.
He wasn't a scientist. The natives of the islands had an open pit style of doing barbecue. They'd catch a hog, and he was there drawing illustrations. And it's like Barbados. They had a different word, and he translated it to barbecue.
I'll be doggone.
When he went back to England, and he wrote 2 books. I don't have the originals, but I've got reproductions. I do have a couple books from the 1700s about him. He's known for putting barbecue in the English language. He's known for putting chopsticks, avocado.
Wow.
He has a 3-ingredient recipe from South America of what became guacamole.
Get out of here.
Believe me, the 3 little ingredient, they didn't have good taste buds back then because it was not good. I have the recipe, and it's not good guacamole. Thank God somebody took that to the next step. And he passed away, ended up being broke, and passed away. But if you look up Captain William Dampier, you can read all about his journeys.
Now, are you your ancestor?
That is an 8th great-grandfather, direct descendant.
How about that?
I remember when I said he came to North America one time. After 6 months in Virginia, he left. He met a lady, Miss Mary. She had a son named Daniel, and she gave the last name Dampier.
I'll be doggone.
And the Dampiers branched out into the Carolinas, Georgia, came out, and there's another branch that came over from England.
Wow.
And then up to Minnesota, Wisconsin area. So our family kind of branched from this pirate explorer buccaneer that came in, got a lady pregnant,
oh my goodness,
and left. So
crazy.
yeah, I'm a descendant from that, and I have some of the books. I've got probably about 20, 30 books.
What a great
that has
story.
been written about him. So when I started getting into barbecue, that was one of the background stories. Like, I kind of have to. My grandfather put it in the English language.
There you go.
So I didn't mean to take up too much time.
So
on
listen,
that,
we're talking burger buns, and this is part of my bun video, my brioche, and we're talking barbecue. This is great though, and you'll probably see this same conversation again. I'm going to put it in the buns, but I'll probably include it in the burger video too. So if you want to watch this twice, these are great stories. Now let me ask you one question. This is barbecue related, not bun related. So my mother was born and reared in Charlotte, just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, Kannapolis, same hometown of Dale Earnhardt. The Carolinas are known for a different kind of barbecue sauce. Alabama is known for mayonnaise base.
North Alabama has that white sauce.
Yeah, it's the mayonnaise base.
It's
called Alabama sauce or something like that. What is your opinion about the different sauces, and which ones do you like, not like? I know you've tasted them all.
I've tasted about every kind there is. The Carolina is real vinegary.
Yes.
But the Carolinas, because that's where the earlier settlers came and the pirates came over, and they were taking concepts from those islands that were doing the hogs. So they brought that over into the colonies, to the States. They were following those techniques and making mop sauces and sauces with a whole lot of vinegar. And through that, it just grew out to where there'd be more ketchup based, or there'd be more hot. People love hot barbecue sauce. People would do the sweet. I'm not too big on the sweet. I like barbecue without the sauce. I think that if you drown your meat in sauce, you're hiding something. So send all complaints that way. But I do like sauce. I make my own sauces. And
by the way, he does. You have your own line of sauce.
I have my own line of sauce. It's an all-purpose sauce for burgers and steaks, chicken. My own rub. The sauce.
How can they get some of your stuff?
Burger Chef sauces.com. In Hot Springs, there's the culinary store, Clampett's Meat Market, EVLO store in town. Sweet Smoky Joe's carries my sauce and my rub.
Nice.
So in town, if you're up in northern Arkansas, the oldest general store in the state, OARC, has my rub up there. The sauce placed 8th out of, I think, 200-300 entries for mild vinegar. And then my rub, which you used at the end up there. What's funny is, Burger Chef, I deal with a lot of beef. I have a lot of pulled pork. Barbecue is really my route into barbecue cooking. So when we did the rub, they helped me come up with the name Chef's Beef Rub. You're the Burger Chef. You're in contest. It placed real good in beef, placed outstanding in chicken, won the best pork rub in the country.
The beef rub did.
It did. Oh. Barbecue News Magazine, Rubs of Honor 2023 was the #1 pork rub, Chef's Beef Rub, pork rub in the country. Real nice award. Big spread for several months in Barbecue News. The sauce placed in the National Barbecue Association. But it just depends. I kind of go towards where I'm at. If I'm in Memphis, give me your sauce. If I'm in Kansas City, give me your sauce. one of the funniest things I ever seen. And McLard's has a great sauce, got a little heat to it. I was actually back in the kitchen area, in the open area, where one of the McLards, who I was great friends with, would cut all the ribs. And before I left, we were chatting, and there was a group. They have a wide booth, and a large group. They were in 2 booths, a big family, and we're sitting there, and he's like, "Yeah, they ordered about everything." And an older gentleman, had to be in about his 70s or so, older African American gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
He got up and he tucked something under his arm and was walking, and I couldn't see until he turned to go to the door, and I just busted out laughing. And Scotty's like, "What is it?" And he looked. He ordered his barbecue without sauce. He had the bottle of Sweet Baby Ray's
Oh no!
under his arm. He brought in his Sweet Baby Ray's sauce.
I'll be doggone.
And so, I mean, it's everybody has their favorites and particulars. It just depends what your palate,
Yeah.
what you like. I've won a lot of awards, and the first thing I tell people when they go, who has the best? Who has the best bread? Who has the best burger, steak? Who has the best pizza? Those are some of the biggest debates. Like, well, what are you looking for?
Right, exactly.
You're looking for Chicago pizza, New York pizza,
There's all different Neapolitan. It's all
Neapolitan.
different
It's all different styles. I live in a town where there's a pizza war almost every day on who has the best. Well, they're all different.
Right.
Burgers. We'll get into that in the burger show. Different styles. The dairy bar burgers are different than the gourmet steakhouse burgers that are different than places I've read.
Yep.
What do you like? What do you prefer?
And at the end of the day, guys, it's what do you like, right?
What do you like?
And this is one of the things I hope you take away from watching the Chef Lance show. And I believe I've almost convinced Mike here to start his own. Is that?
That is.
So,
that is
hey,
beautiful.
I'm going to finish this little pontification up, and then I'm going to bring you up close and personal. We've talked so long. The buns are cool enough to slice, but this has been great conversation. I just love
I've
this.
enjoyed it.
I'm having.
We
a
don't
great
see
time.
each other enough. We do
We
message
don't.
or text, or
Yeah,
through social
Facebook
media.
messages or something like
So-
that. But by the way, check him out. Check out his sauce website. Say that again.
BurgerChefSauces.com.
BurgerChefSauces.com. Check it out. He puts out great products.
I have a personal Facebook, Michael Dampier, or the professionalist, the Burger Chef.
Yeah.
On TikTok, I'll do some TikTok videos. Those are fun.
I've never been
Yeah.
on TikTok.
My now 17-year-old daughter has got me hooked on TikTok.
that, yeah.
And I'll do videos. I'll do some cooking every now and then, or post pictures and stuff. So
All
it's
right.
fun.
But when we come back, you're going to be looking overhead, and I'm going to show you how to slice these things, and then we're going to finish the bun video, and you'll see all this again on the burger video. So be sure to check out both of those. If you're watching this, you've already checked out one or the other. So anyway, be right back. All right.
And burgers, buns, and barbecue.
There we go. Welcome back, kids, and we are ready to finally cook some burger after we've been talking and talking. This has been so fun. I've enjoyed this so much. We're going to do this more often.
We do.
Seriously.
We do. We've been talking buns because he made fresh baked buns. We've been talking because I have a barbecue background. We've been talking barbecue, now talking burgers. So
Yep.
three B's.
The 3 B's of life. All right, so what we got going on here, the burger chef here is going to do the patties and do the cheese, and he has memorized the how Five Guys Does It video. I'm half kidding, but not probably more than half.
Five Guys, please send all complaints to Chef Lance.
Yeah, I'll take them all. Leave your complaints in the comments below. Trust me, I get them. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to toast the buns. I'm just going to go ahead and get that started, and because I've got to dress the buns, and then I'm going to, the way we understand it, Five Guys. Go ahead, you do your thing.
Well, one thing I was going to say is Five Guys, they get a special blend of meat, and they don't season. And depending on the cuts of meat that I get, sometimes I'll season, sometimes I won't. I never season, even though I have my own rubs and stuff, salt, pepper, a little Dalmatian blends, what we call it, in the barbecue world.
Dalmatian, I like
briskets and
that.
stuff. Because, black pepper and salt. So they don't season. Well, we went to Walmart, got some ground chuck, 80-20. I want to season a little bit because we are doing a video about better than.
Right.
So we're trying to kick it up a notch. So I'm going to season a little bit of salt. Never too much because you really don't want to take the flavor from the meat. When I'm trying a good burger, I want to taste the meat.
Right.
And a lot of people, they will drown it. You can take a bite of some places, some very popular places, and you're tasting that pepper. You're tasting way too much salt. and you're feeding people different taste buds and stuff.
Yeah, in
so
fact, when I do steaks, I don't even put pepper. I just salt only.
just do salt only.
And
Yep.
I mentioned this in another earlier video, and I'm going to say it again. You may or may not know this, that the human taste buds recognize 1% salt by weight as optimal seasoning. Less than, it's undersalted. More than, it's too salty. Two exceptions, potatoes and rice. They require a higher percentage. And so when when I was executive chef, a friend of mine who's been on this program, Chef Brian Simon, introduced me to doing dry brining. Have you heard of that before?
Yes.
So dry brining, we cut our own ribeyes, 14 ounces, which is roughly 400 grams. So we would use 4 grams of salt on each steak and put it in the walk-in. We would salt on all the edges, put it in the walk-in refrigerator, let it sit there for at least overnight, but usually 2 days. And that little bit, and you can, yours controls the heat, I think, right there. So,
right there.
Oh, you know what? I need to turn this vent on, don't I?
Oh yeah, he told me to remind him, and I forgot to remind.
So I don't normally when I shoot a video here in the kitchen, I don't turn the vent on, and there it is. I hear it now because of the noise. You probably just heard it kick on, but we need it when we're doing these burgers because we don't want to smoke this place up and have the fire department show up. So anyway, I was going to tell you a story. Hot Springs related, but more about the country where my dad grew up. The country, and I don't mean this foreign country. I mean in the country, in a little town in central western, not even western, but central Arkansas. It's about an hour and 20-minute drive from here. A little town called Perrin, in the eastern edge of the Ouachita Mountains. Hot Springs is due south of there. I don't know how many miles, but it's due south. There's a ridge that runs through there, and my dad lived on the Saline County side, which is how, after he got out of the military, how I ended up in Saline County. But what I was going to tell you was there was moonshiners back in the day. We were talking about Prohibition earlier. Moonshiners back in the day, one on each side of the ridge. And I'm not going to mention their names because the families are still well known, but those who know the area know. And so the bootleggers from Little Rock would come over to the moonshiner on the eastern side of the ridge and if he didn't have 50 gallons ready to go at any given time, they'd go find somebody else. But they made a lot of money doing that and actually bought a lot of land. And then the ones on the western side of the ridge supplied Hot Springs, and you heard Mike tell you all about some of the exploits down there, right? And so they did that, and they got into the car business. And so that name is prominent in the car business there at Hot Springs. And that's a little moonshiner story. So my the patriarch of my family was the oldest uncle. I grew up not knowing my grandparents. They were killed in a car accident when I was an infant. But the patriarch was an uncle who died in 07 at just shy of 97. And we used to have Sunday dinners after church, and they'd come over to the house, my aunt and uncle. And I asked him one day, I said, did you ever work for so-and-so moonshining? I got these nice and toasty. And he did this, he jokingly. And then he said, I made $1.50 a day when grown men couldn't get work for $1 a week. And that's a fact. Would you mind shutting that one off right there?
Yep.
Perfect. So that's a little bit of moonshine that went on there.
I've known a few bootleggers in my time too. So there's still a little bit of that, from time to time, because in Arkansas on Sundays, you can't buy liquor.
Except in Springdale.
In Springdale. That's right. That is right.
Yeah, in Springdale, which is in northwest Arkansas. And by the way, I thought all of Arkansas was southern. I grew up southern. This is a southern culture and environment. And one of my dreams, and I fulfilled that, I lived in northwest Arkansas for 12 years. That is not southern up there. It's midwestern. It's a whole different kind of culture. I was actually shocked by that.
Anyway. It is a different little...
And it's its own bubble, too.
The folks are coming down from Iowa,
Chicago,
Michigan, and Minnesota and stuff. And that northwest Arkansas is really taking off. Rogers, Springdale.
Oh, it's incredible.
Really has.
When's the last time you've been up there?
A month ago.
Then Benton County is just blown up.
Yeah.
Just has blown up. By the way, I made this mayonnaise yesterday. Somewhere around my head, you'll see the card where you can click on it and watch that video. It is so simple, so easy to make. Once you do it yourself and taste it, you probably will never buy another one again. Now, it doesn't have preservatives, so you'll have to make it about every time you need it, but it is just a few minutes of time making this. So check out that video, if you will. So Five Guys, they put the mayonnaise on top, right?
Right.
Now, we're going to dress it completely the way they do and give it a shot?
We're going to, give it a shot kind of the way how they do.
All right, so then I'm going to reach around you and I'm going to grab the ketchup and the mustard and the hot sauce.
When we were talking earlier about hamburger meat, you don't want to overwork it when you're pattying it, getting it ready. You also don't want to overwork it when it's on a grill, in a skillet. A lot of mistakes that people make is they'll sit there and flip a burger 3-4 times. You don't do that. You let it cook. Depending on the most, like the smash patties, 30 seconds to a minute, depending on how thin it is. In my restaurants that I've ran, we run thicker burgers, 7 ounce, 6.5, anywhere 8 ounce. And so you let it cook about 3-4 minutes on one side, check it, flip it, let it finish cooking. You don't sit there and poke at it. You don't flip it a couple times. I've worked these a little bit more because this is a different cook area than I'm normal to, and the skillet and everything. But normally on a flat top, you're at about 400 degrees. You're getting a real good sear on that. This skillet has ridges where it could give you grill marks if you had a steak on here. But the burgers are cooking up nice.
How many pickles do you want?
About 3, 4, depending if they're small pickles, 4, but 3 is good. You don't want, I'm going to do one patty as an example. My mom did restaurants for 30 years, and I would see her yell at somebody back when you could really yell at people, and I've even done it. They'll sit there, I'm going to use this patty here because I don't like how it really looks, and they'll sit there and they will just smash it and smash it. If you hear that sizzle, there's more of a sizzle when I'm doing that. That's the flavor going goodbye hamburger patty because it's going to be dry. And no matter how much salt and pepper on there, it's not going to help it. You want a good juicy burger. And from smash burgers up to the gourmet burgers, you want it with flavor. You want it with juice. You want a little juice coming out when you're holding it in your hand like Guy Fieri goes all in like that when he's eating. You want to see some juice come out of that burger. And that's what you're looking for.
So we were talking about seasoning, and do they season their veggies at all?
I did not see anything on their video.
I don't.
I like what you're doing there because I like pepper.
Listen, season your tomatoes. It'll just bring out that flavor so much more. I can always tell when no one has taken the time to season the tomatoes on a burger because it's flat. It's just a flat taste. So do that and treat yourself to that. Now, by chance, I got some nice looking juicy tomatoes here. I did squeeze them till I got the ripeness I wanted. So we'll get a little seasoning on that. Yes, sir.
Well, Arkansas is known for tomatoes as well. You go down to South Arkansas, Warren, Arkansas. They have tomato festivals every year. Mm-hmm. And I had just seen some pictures when we was doing tomatoes here. We're in the South, so there's some things in the South we do that other places don't do. And one, we have tomato sandwiches.
Yes, sir.
And you would get your bread, something you could toast it or just plain white bread, and put mayo on it. Get some right from the garden, fresh tomatoes. Throw some little black pepper on there, a little seasoning, and you would put the other on top and have your tomato sandwich.
Now look here, guys. I did a cross cut on this lettuce because it looked cool and looked like it had texture, but I got a little crazy on this. So I'm going to just break off some and not conventional, okay? It's not conventional. By the way, speaking of that, if I wanted to make my dad smile, I'd take him a tomato sandwich right now. And I love a slather of mayonnaise on there. Now, when I dress my burger personally, I don't do ketchup and mustard. Just not my preference. I'm a mayonnaise only guy. But we're going to dress it like Five Guys. And so these are ready for the burgers when you are, Chef.
Okay.
So what it's going to do, we're going to do it the Five Guys way. Now, so if you notice any videos or you go to Five Guys Burgers, their burgers are going to be a little bigger than this, but that's because they have smashed them really flat and they spread them out.
And the quality of the meat that they're getting in from their meat company that's coming in is a little different style. Ours is basic that you get at home. we were talking, if you go out and eat someplace and you don't specify what kind of cheese you want, you're going to get American cheese.
Right.
That's just the common sense thing. I'm going to throw some on here. This is that one.
So
I like to do mine that way, kind of
the same way they do
a
it?
little bit.
Yeah.
We'll put that on top. Let that cook down just a little bit. That patty I'm going to let cook a little bit more.
Yeah, this stove has hot spots. You're finding
Yeah,
out.
I'm finding the hot spots. I'm not getting a accurate sear on it.
So I love an induction cooktop. I really do. There's a lot of things about it I love. But some of the things I don't like about it, if you're not on that little ring, or you're not getting heat. Now, cast iron will transmit the heat, but it's still, you'll have hot
It'll
spots.
still be hot spots. One thing I hate when I go in a restaurant and I order a burger and it comes out and the cheese is cold or cool.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like they last second, oh my God, it's a cheeseburger. Let me throw it on there. So if you ever come to any of my restaurants or anywhere I'm cooking, I'm doing this Five Guys way. Usually I would smother this in just cheese, but you'll see that it even has a little edge right there, a little cheese crisp.
Yeah.
You want to put it over here on top of that. We'll kind of offset it a little bit and go from there. Get it turned around where you can see. Set lettuce back on top. We'll do that.
That's a lot of lettuce.
That is a lot of lettuce. We might change one up here in a little bit.
Yeah. So we're gonna get this other one finished up, and I'm gonna take some pictures, and then you know what's next after that? My favoriteest time of the whole day, and that is tasting time. So we're gonna enjoy us some better than Five Guys burger. Now, if somebody wanted to come eat your food, where you're cooking now?
Well, June 3rd, I'm starting a new job at Brady Mountain Grill, west of Hot Springs. Is about 20 minutes west of Hot Springs.
On beautiful Lake Ouachita.
The cleanest lake in the country.
And
beautiful.
The largest lake in Arkansas. It's a beautiful lake.
A lot of different little resorts. And so I've been there forever. I believe Brady Mountain's been there since the 50s. Actually, I was reading up on it, and the founder of Brady Mountain, I just went blank on his name, it was Landis. Turn that down a little bit off.
You don't have to
And
move it. Yeah.
he is the son of Judge Landis. If you're a baseball historian, in 1919, there's known as the Chicago White Sox won the World Series, or known as the Black Sox, because they cheated. Well, up to that point, from 1870s to 1918, they didn't have no commissioner. The first commissioner was Judge Landis.
Oh, wow.
And his son, Spanish-American War, World War I, up into World War II, he came to Arkansas.
I'll be doggone.
Started Brady Mountain. There was a baseball player that out of Mount Ida area, they become friends. That baseball player, I'd have to look it up, but became a county judge in Garland County. So there's a lot of history there in that Brady Mountain. So I'm looking forward to Brady Mountain Resort. Coming in next month and check me out up there. I'll be doing burgers, sandwiches, and seafood and stuff. So,
I'll be out there. I'll be one of your first customers.
Most definitely.
Yeah. So going to go grab some pictures, and then we'll come back, and we're going to eat these things. All right.
Yep.
See you around the corner. All right. Welcome back, kids. And it is my, what is it? Favoriteest time of the day, tasting time. So the burger chef here is adjusting my lettuce amounts. I did kind of go over the top with that. So we're going to put this together. Look at, okay, first of all, seriously, chef, look at that. How are we going to do this? This is how I'm doing it.
We're going to make it a smash burger.
Yeah,
that's what you're supposed to do. Smash it on down.
Yeah. Dad gum. Look at that. Cheers.
Cheers.
Here we go.
And with the skillet that he used, we got grill marks on the bottom of these fresh baked buns.
And we got to do a Guy Fieri here.
Now you've got to get those elbows out and kind of go all in.
Here we go. Oh. Oh my. That, my friend. Listen, I love Five Guys, but that burger there, that's better than Five Guys. Great job.
You got a little bit of a sear, a little bit of a crust.
Yep.
You can taste. But
Oh my goodness.
And now a Five Guys will be a little bit thinner with the two patties.
Right.
So it won't set up quite as that, even with the veggies, but you have a lot of meat there.
I did cut this lettuce a little thick on that cross cut. Look at Man, I'm going back in, guys.
You go in, you've got it running down your hands and your arms, down to your elbows.
You know you're into something good. Mmm. Mmm. All in the beard. Oh, that is fantastic.
Exactly.
My mama said don't talk with your mouth full, but dang, that's good. Oh my,
These are ones
juicy.
you just don't want to put it down.
Exactly. This is delicious.
And that's the juice that's running in with the condiments that's kind of pushing down. But you got good juices from that meat right there.
Guys, and listen, don't be that guy. The one, the one at the hamburger joint with a knife and a fork. Don't do that. No. We're going to call a foul on that one.
I'm going to steal a catchphrase from a famous Louisiana cook, Mr. Justin.
Mm-hmm.
You get us to do a burger like this for you, I guarantee, woo, you're going to be loved, because this right here is it's a good burger.
Dang. So, speaking of Juiced on Wilson, I saw a show one time. He always cooked in those suspenders.
Mm-hmm.
He said, yeah, we're going to use a little white wine. And so he glugs the white wine. And then he looks at the bottle and said, people ask me, Juiced on, why do you like to cook with wine? And he did this, turned the bottle up, boom, 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 because I like a wine.
I have, well, like Chef said, it's all on our whiskers. So I apologize if I've got some mayo, whatever, here
I'm not
in my goatee. But I actually have a cookbook signed from Justin. And I love going back watching those cook because it's just simple, easy stuff you can do at home. You make a burger like this at home. We're on a induction stovetop. Got these at home. You can buy them at Lowe's. Build out your house. The type of skillets that we used. You can do this at home. Make you a burger at home. Man, you don't have to go fire up the grill outside.
And if you've priced Five Guys lately, you're going to want to do it at home. And your burger's going to be better than Five Guys. So,
especially if you follow the video of the segment where he's talking about baking the buns, those brioche buns. He fresh baked these. And
yeah.
Mine even got grill marks on the bottom.
Yep. So wonderful.
Sesame seeds on top, grill marks on the bottom.
Well, Chef, thank you for joining me today.
Oh, thanks for having me. I've enjoyed it.
BurgerChefSauces.com. Also look on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok for your just search for the Burger Chef, Michael Dampier. There he is. So go follow him. Check out his stuff on his website. It's been such a pleasure to do this video.
Oh, thank you, Chef. We'll do this again.
And when you get your own channel, I'll be happy to come down and
definitely have you on there.
Perfect. Good to see you, my friend.
Yes, sir.
All right. So until next time on the Chef Lance Show, remember this: a day in the kitchen beats a day of working any day. We'll see you then. Okay. We're just going to eat this thing, man.
Lord.
That's tomato. Man, that is good. Honestly, I knew you were going to do a great job.
That's just a good Walmart. Get produce at Walmart or where?
Yeah, that's just all Walmart.
Just a good old Walmart.
So my thing is, I want to get stuff where people get stuff, right?
Exactly.
So I have always shopped for doing the videos at Walmart.
Tomato and then, of course, the season.
So the tomatoes I lucked out on. Typically, they're going to be underripe, but I found some that had ripened up really nice, and they're not quite off the vine good, but better than most. So anyway, it's been so fun having you.
I've enjoyed this.
And you got to go get on a TV show.
Put it in a TV show.
All right. So hey, wait. You guys are still here? Go away.
Y'all leave. We're trying to, eat, visit,
Get out of here.
It's not polite to watch people eat now. But you've got to, oh my goodness. I'm going to take one more bite for you. Woo! I'm not going to go back, buy bags of roux and stuff. 45 minutes. And I made the comment, I said, you look at those pictures in the 1800s and the 1900s of the ladies who's worked in the fields and then cooking. they have massive forearms.
Yes,
And I'm like, this is what 45 minutes doing that roux. And
you know how they do roux now in New Orleans?
what's that?
They do it in a hotel pan, like a 400 pan,
Mm-hmm.
or even a 600. They flour, oil, neutral oil. They use a
Neutral
liquid,
oil.
mix it in, throw it in the oven, just leave it till it gets the color they want. I learned that from Jay McAfee, who worked in New Orleans for a little bit. I just released a making a roux video, Technical Tuesday video, and I took it on the stove from blonde, white, all the way to a chocolate.
Okay.
So that just came out the other day. All right, so we'll start. You can adjust your lettuce, whatever you want.
I'm gonna adjust my lettuce.
And we'll do a cheers on this, okay?
Okay.
All right, welcome.
Where did we put the box of cloves?
Now I'm going to stand right here, and I may come around you to do the buns. I'll take care of that, and I'll do the dressing of the buns.
Maybe a couple down here. So I don't have to walk too far.
Now, do you want sesame seeds or without?
I love sesame seeds.
Yeah, me too.
Fine. Especially since it's fresh baked.
In fact, let me just plan on working from over here. That way you can see me that way. Which is not always a good thing. And I'll adjust the camera in just a second.
What brand hat do you wear?
You know what? I don't know. I just know I buy them from Amazon.
I wear a lot of the Boston Scally hats.
Okay.
This one has burgers and hot dogs and whatnot.
Epic, I think that's what it said.
Okay, yeah.
I just happened to...
6 years ago, I just got into wearing these styles of hats.
So my head is big and I don't do baseball hats very well. And the only reason I wear a hat at all is because of this business.
Uh-huh.
So when I went to school here, I said, do we have to wear a certain kind of hat? No, as long as it's black. And so I started wearing this. They have now changed that, unfortunately. But I just don't do a baseball hat. And I don't want to be pretentious on the camera and doing a chef's hat, a toque.
I don't. If I'm doing an appearance like a 5K or something, I've wore just for fun a chef's hat, but you'll never see me cooking with a chef's hat.
Right.
I do, some ball caps if I can find the right kind that fits, mostly these style of hats.
Okay. Is it on?
It ain't heating up.
You know what?
Isn't there a switch or a...
When it flipped, I bet the breaker. You'll see a couple of videos I did where I had a portable induction. That was because of the same issue. They don't trust me with a master key. All right. So I'm going to run up to the office and see if I can grab a master key.
You want to just go ahead and stop this? Or?
Oh, yeah. Thank you for remembering it was on.